again, is up 434,688. And I'll remind everyone in this room, everybody knows that we've stopped doing smoothing. And Amy will chime in later on to tell you some of the other towns who did the smoothing are looking at some significant tax increases, more than what we're looking at, because of them doing the smoothing. So it was the right thing to do. We, a few years ago, put some very, at the recommendation of Amy, we put some very strict guidelines on. Our employees pay more into the pension, and every year in the future contracts, that's going to continue to be the trend. We've reduced the number of full-time people that we hire. I mean, the facts are the facts. And when we do have to replace a position with a full-time person, the non-uniform people are part of a defined contribution, not a defined pension. So we did the three things that everyone is doing over the last 2 years, we implemented a few years ago. So that number would actually be higher.
One other thing, Larry, just to chime in on the pension, because of that funding at market value, the other benefit of it is our funding levels have increased pretty dramatically. We get valued every 2 years, and in 2011, we were about 60% funded in the police plan and 72% in the civilian. We're now up to 78 in the civilian plan and 66 in the police plan. So that's
Nice, yeah.
that's in the direction we're trying to get to. And that's because of the market funding.
Yeah, good. Thank you, Amy. Insurance is up. Again, in township insurance, there was a couple, unfortunately, incidents that occurred over the township, or township our size, that actually are having an effect on our premiums. We did go with the best offer this year, and unfortunately, it's our premiums, our township insurances are up $120,000 this year. And our debt services, again, for the loans that we did, will have more of an impact next year, but it's up $337,000. So these are the cost drivers. We're looking before, for even eliminating all the positions. This is which, we're looking at 1 million, over $1.7 million that we have an impact every year. So we continue to cut, but yet every year these things are not going to go away. And we're constantly looking outside the box, changing the way we're doing business to try to provide the most cost-effective services to our residents. And again, there's not one department that we don't look at and reevaluate. There hasn't been one department that hasn't been affected since 2007. And I don't want to sit here and list all 17 jobs, but one of the things that, from consolidating the 911 system, save $500,000 a year. That's not one time, but if we didn't consolidate with the county system, we'd be looking at $500,000 every year back into the budget, not counting the capital costs because of technology, and so on and so forth. I mean, you just look at all the jobs that we had to eliminate over the years. But these are the stresses that not only Haverford Township are looking at, but every other community in the Commonwealth. But again, the difference, and I want to keep beating in, on the nail, but we are a bedroom community. We've had some great things happen over the years. We're trying to be more business friendly, welcoming business, small and large. This quarry center, where we'd be looking at a higher tax increase this year, has had a very positive impact towards, Amy, what was that figure?
They added $16 million to our ratables, so they were just recently assessed.
I wish we had more space to put a couple
I'm sorry,
more.
24 million. 24 million.
Great stuff. But again, these are the things that are driving the cost. So what do? We continue to do the things that have been working, continuing to look at every department, and there's no departments, again, that are not going to be affected. We are one of the programs that we've been looking at, and I'm not sure if it's going to be effective or not, but we're talking with Marple and Springfield Townships about consolidating our animal control department. They presently, right now, contract most of their services out. I will tell you that we provide a whole lot more than most communities. And so I'm still looking at that, the animal control. We provide animal control services in conjunction with our police department, as well as with a part-time person. And again, those part-time hours, we keep them down now, so we don't have to be worried about paying that particular person the health care premiums. Again, we reduced this operating budget by 4 full-time positions, as saving over $400,000 there if you add up their salaries, insurances, and health care, and so on and so forth. Reduction of hours for part-time employees. Health care, let me explain that a little bit. The health care changes. Every employee that we currently have been working, our part-time employees, under 35 hours a week, 34 hours a week, so they're not entitled to health care, and because then they would be a full-time employee. Because of the new health care reforms, now that hours have changed to 29. So we will be changing our part-time employees, and they're a significant number. There's over 45 of them that fall into that category, that we will reflect their numbers. The hours will be cut to below 29 hours. If not, we would have to give them health care premiums that would have an additional $550,000 impact to the budget we have. I don't know how other towns are doing it, but it's a challenge. And again, what does that mean? That means our staff has to do more with less. Leaf collection, we're going to continue to do that this year. We're doing it now with Haverford Township. The leaf collection the numbers have reduced. We're going to continue to do the brine program. We're continuing to do the defined contribution plan for all new hires. Again, we've increased the share for the pension contributions for uniform and non-uniform. We are increasing the share of healthcare contributions for our uniform and our non-uniform personnel. Constantly looking at other opportunities. One of the big things that I've wanted to do for this township that would have an enormous impact is changing all of our major vehicles, the big vehicles or diesel vehicles, over to natural gas. I was a little disappointed in not getting the one grant that was a combined grant with Marple and Haverford, but I believe that we were making some headway there. I don't want to jinx myself or go into it any more detail, but that is still probably one of the biggest priorities that I want to undertake in the very near future, is switching our diesel over to natural gas. We're paying well over $4 a gallon now for diesel fuel, and there's significant savings, 50% savings, as well as an improvement to the environment if we switch over to natural gas. We believe that's a possibility. The other thing, if it doesn't, if we're not successful with the grant, another area that Mr. Doherty has looked at just recently is propane. Propane vehicles, which is also significantly cheaper. It's friendly to the environment. And the nice thing about the propane vehicles is that the companies, if you switch over, they'll actually come in and install the propane filling stations for free. But we're still not 100% confident on the propane. I think with the fracking in the Commonwealth, I still think that my number one choice would be natural gas, but we'll certainly take a look at the propane vehicles. Traffic light maintenance continues. We're doing a great job, and we'll continue to change our traffic, or not just our traffic lights, should be street lights, and that's a typo, I apologize. Our street lights, we have to continue to change them. Every time we have a problem with a particular street light, we evaluate, is that light actually still needed in that particular location, and our personnel will then change the ballast out and put a more more efficient light in there. And we're also looking at leasing out township services, and I continue to do that. Again, I want to keep repeating, but there's not a department that doesn't go that this township has that I have not looked at and will continue to look at. So things that we're going to continue to see, utility cost is going to continue to be a challenge. Township infrastructure, again, we are an old town, and we did not do a good job in planning, addressing our infrastructure. In the last 2.5 months, we've had 3 major infrastructure collapses. One on Weller Avenue, which is going to be well over $250,000 emergency repairs. Upland Road, close to, Mr. Pannoni's not here, I believe $200,000 in repairs. And just the other day, I believe you all got an email from me on Lorraine Avenue. We were lucky that was a sewer line, complete collapse of the sanitary line. And we were able to address that, replace it. I think it was 20 foot of line. But these type of things are not going to go away. We're a very old community, and these type of things are going to start impacting the township. The building maintenance, the way we are, we continue to have maintenance issues. Hopefully, we've addressed some of the major issues, and we're basically going to continue to put Band-Aids on as much as we can until this board, where we decide where we're going to go as far as the buildings in the near future. Our tax appeals, I can't talk specifically, but we have a number of very, very major tax appeals cases out there that if we if it does not come to our favor, we'll have an enormous, and I'm going to say the word, enormous impact on us for next year. Not 2014, but as well as 2014, as well as 2015. Future recreation projects, we still have some money still budgeted in capital for some of the pavilions and some of our obligations, but we have a phenomenal park and recreations department. We have parks. I use it with my granddaughter, the Freedom Playground, the Murray Place, as well as all the parks, but a lot of our parks are old, and the equipment is starting to break down now. The turf field in a couple of years is going to need to be replaced. All these things you have to think about. The MMO obligation, again, is not going to go away. The emergency repairs, as I said, and that's not going to go away. A township of our size. Healthcare, rising healthcare is also not going to go away. So again, we need to continue to look at those things. I have a couple of capital projects that I just wanted to mention here that we've done in 2013. As you're aware, historically, we've gotten in the trend. It's worked out very well. We've been doing a road program every other year. So in 2013, we did not do a road program, but we did do some improvements to the South Ardmore lot, which was in desperate need of repair. So we replaced that lot, and we used some of the funds out of our road program budget. The Brookline lot was redone because we just redid the Brookline Boulevard Business District when utilizing the community block grant funds, which that particular boulevard looks fantastic. I'm extremely proud of that project, the new lights, new sidewalks, a lot of compliments from the businesses as well as people residing in Havertown and people living outside our community. The Lanark lot was also done this year. Some of the infrastructure improvements, again, Nailers Run Interceptor was a major, major repair. It was one that happened several months ago. Amy, do you recall what that was offhand? I think that was the Nailers Run, the sanitary collapse.
It was a sanitary collapse.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was by the quarry.
yeah, by the quarry, substantial.
It was huge, yeah.
That was precipitated by a big
It was the
storm.
or something.
Yeah, it was a storm.
Yeah.
That was long cold.
Behind the
sidewalks.
Yeah.
The Weller Avenue, Upland Road, Twin Oaks, we did a sewer lining this year. That was one that required, again, about $200,000 in repairs. The Upland Road, $200,000, Weller, $250,000. We did new parking meters. That's the first time, I think, since the parking meters ever went up. Parking meters there in the community were very old. Half the time, the residents couldn't see whether they put the money in, nor could our parking enforcement officers tell whether there was any money in there. So we replaced every meter at a cost of about $92,000, and we made smart meters to make it more business-friendly for not only the businesses, but well as our users. So you can actually purchase a card at the police department, and it's like a prepaid card. Brookline Boulevard, the streetscape, outstanding. Again, that was done with CDBG funds, no township funds. The Eagle Road light replacement, we replaced the Eagle roads along the business district from the Oakmont parking lot all the way up Darby Road around to both sides on Eagle Road. We replaced the Grange roof. You would recall the police department, the cameras was roughly close to $30,000 in a camera equipment we had to place into the police department for liability purposes. All that camera equipment is up and running now. The good thing about that, camera equipment, it's digital, and we can actually move it. It's equipment that'll last for a number of years. The implementation of our K-9 department, and we enhanced our finance accounting system as well. Equipment, we purchased obviously a new Zamboni, we purchased a new trash truck, and we also purchased, it's not there, some police vehicles. I think there was 3. Park improvements, we installed some new pavilions. We have a couple more that need to go up. We have the bathroom projects that are up and going at Merwood and Paddock, and the Darby Creek Trails, which has been very successful in the community. A lot of positive comments. Capital projects we're looking this year, we will do a Mill Road storm sewer improvements. We've had a number of issues with the storm sewers on Mill Road. So when we implement our road program, which will be it won't be as big as prior years. We have about $800,000 set aside to do roads for 2014. And how that is done, our Director of Public Works and the engineer evaluate all the streets, and they're put into a priority and then a secondary list. We have some streets that were really needed to be on the last one, so we're already on the highest priority for 2014. But when we do the road programs, we will be making some new stormline improvements on Mill Road to address some of the flooding issues there. Hathaway Lane, we're going to be doing sewer repairs. That's cited sometime for March or April of next year. Everyone is aware that we've already started all the work for the vehicle maintenance facility, which has been a part of the facilities plan. We're doing park improvements again. We still have, as I said, the pavilions. We have more pavilions and some other park improvements we're going to be making that's still coming out of the capital. We're looking to do some stadium enhancements as far as some minor maintenance and some light replacements. And again, that's all going to be contingent upon the capital flow. And we have some departmental equipment replacement that I already mentioned as we went through each of the expenses in those departments. That'll all be part of the capital initiative. So with that, I'll be glad to address any questions. But you know what? Before I do that, I know that. I apologize. Let me go back because every year this question comes up, and I think it's imperative that I address it.
Like he's walking towards a 2-day collection. I wonder what you're planning.
Yeah. Again, I look at it, and what I've heard.
Yeah. Notice where he's walking.
Yes. Here's the facts. Our sanitation department, we collect.
He hasn't changed his mind yet, has he?
And I won't. I think if we move from a 2-day collection to a 1-day collection, it would be disastrous right now for our community. And I'm going to tell you why. We collect right now for 19,000 tons of trash every year. We collect, in addition to that, we collect 5,000 to 6,000 tons of recycling every year. So how do you save money? The only way you're going to save money from going from 2-day to 1 day is reduce equipment and personnel. By doing that, the 19,000 tons of trash and the 5,000 to 6,000 tons of recycling are still there. They're not going to go away. So you need extra days to collect it. So something has to give. Every day right now, we do trash and recycling. 2-day, Thursdays and Fridays are our recycling days. So those days become a challenge because our department has to go out and pick up the trash in the morning, empty the trash at the trash and steam plant in Marple, and then repeat that process and take the recycling and then collect it and transport it to King of Prussia where the single stream recycling is. So to the amount of personnel that we would need, we would have to if we reduce trucks and personnel, we would have to eliminate the Wednesday. We've looked at it and looked at it and looked at it. We would have to eliminate the Wednesday yard waste
waste pickup.
program. If you do that, the only way it's going to go back into the trash stream. That's $250,000 right back in the trash stream. So what we're doing is, in essence, taking a service away from the residents with no direct impact. The other